So I'm back. It's the next day. Today it is Thursday and it is raining and it's a little bit cold, so I'm here sitting in the middle of summertime with a blanket. I love blankets. Well, here I have my tablets. And this is the original photo that I took from this beautiful peacock butterfly. And this tablet photo gives me a little bit more contrast and light. So that will help me to determine where to go. But the first thing I'm going to do is add more red tones, because this butterfly, I believe, desperately needs more tone. Scarlet, I haven't used this one. As I showed you before, this set has 30 colors, and here there is in total, the largest set here is 84 colors. Yeah. Water soluble wax pastel, that is what it says. I need a touch of red here, but I'm going to do that a little bit with a different technique. Let's pick up some color from the crayon. I need a little bit more water, so let's try again. I'm not sure if this works so well. Let's just try. Oh, this is working. Great. This is great. And let's mix the rest of this beautiful red tone. So yesterday I told you that we were, my husband and I were having a cold, and we had ourselves tested for the coronavirus, but the test came back negative, so no corona. That is good, no COVID. And I must say the cold is subsiding. I'm not feeling bad anymore. There is a sneeze once in a while, but I have that all year round, I must say. I'm a sneezy person. I received a lot of messages, emails, comments from you with all sorts of advice and tips and tricks to treat my migraines. And I would like to say thank you for all your messages. I really enjoy reading them, and I really like to hear from you. So whenever you feel you like to send me a mail, just do it. I really enjoy reading them. And there even was somebody who emailed me to ask me what my address is, because this person wants to send me a letter. Well, that is nice, an old-fashioned letter. I'm really looking forward to receiving it. Here I have the black crayon, and there is black here and there, but the red hasn't dried yet, so I think I'm going to be wise and wait until the area has dried. So I will instead go for this one, yellow, to add a touch of yellow here and here. And here and here. Make sure you clean your brush once in a while, because otherwise you will smudge all the colors. I'm constantly cleaning my brush on a tissue that is here, lying here next to the drawing. Let's add some dark tones over here. This is black. I need to mix colors in order to get a darker brown. Here in the Netherlands we have had a period of drought, but the last couple of weeks we've had a lot of rain, and things have normalized a little bit. The water table in the ground has improved. It looks better now. And we had a lot of rain the last couple of days. And I don't mind rain, but I do mind cold temperatures. I don't know what it is, but when it's cold outside, my body is cold too. No matter how many clothes I wear, how many layers of clothes, when the temperature is, I think, below 22 degrees in the house, I just become cold. It's a women thing, I guess. My husband is complaining that he's often complaining in summertime that it is too hot, but it's hardly ever too hot for me, only on the extreme days. A couple of weeks ago we had temperatures between 25 and 30 degrees Celsius. That was perfect for me. Absolutely perfect. And now it is 18 degrees Celsius. Nah, that's not a good temperature for me. Well, this looks much better. Look at that. Now over here we need to do the same. I'll start with this one, brown. Let's turn the drawing. And I'll go slowly. Okay, I will let this dry. Now over here it looks like there is pigment that I haven't worked on yet. Let's see if that's true. No, it's not true. No. Okay, now I'm going to add more green because we need a little bit more green. And here I have a very bright one. Yellow green, gelb grün, vert jaune, or something like that. How does that look? I think that is better. Let's add a little bit of green over here. These Neocolor crayons, they are not in the professional range of Caran art materials, I think. I'm not sure about it, but because I don't know anything about these, the light fastness. I'm really curious about it, but I don't think these are very light fast. I should test it. Maybe I can test it one day. But it's really nice stuff, and I noticed that many companies, art material companies, are now experimenting with new products. The latest that I saw was Sennelier. I have Sennelier watercolors, and they have a new thing that is a watercolor brush pen. I believe Winsor & Newton has something similar, I believe. Okay, let's go back to the butterfly, because there are a couple of areas here that I need to, let's change the camera. I need to activate the pigment here. And here as well. Okay. Now when I look at the picture, there is an area here on the wings that has a touch of brown, so I'm going to add a touch of brown here. The same over here. I saw a butterfly like this a couple of days ago, last weekend. Last weekend we went for a little walk in a forested area pretty close to home. And we saw a peacock butterfly flying around. They are quite common in the Netherlands. I'm just looking at the picture on the tablet right now, just to determine where things should be going. I think first thing that I need to do is add more color here. So I'll go in with the black. And there's a black line around the wings of the butterfly. So this is a little bit, these are all the same colors, and there are areas where you cannot clearly see where the butterfly wings end and the flower begins, so to speak. I think this is a very Dutch sentence that I just sometimes I hear myself speaking English, and then while saying it I think, oh, that is not English, that is Dutchism. The sentences in Dutch are differently built. The sequence of type of words are different from English. So it happens quite often that I start speaking a sentence and then halfway I need to start over again, because I will end up in a mess, because I started with the wrong words, so the sentence will not make sense. That happens quite a lot. But I'm fine with that. When I started out recording these videos, I was a little bit concerned. Here, this is light olive, about speaking English. That is why my very first videos have no sound. I really was too afraid to speak English. And now I'm at a point that I completely embrace my English. It's okay whether I make mistakes or not. I'm fine with it. And this morning I watched a documentary in German. For some reasons, the last couple of years, language has become more interesting to me, and I can see now the benefits of speaking several languages. So I really like to improve myself, to practice a little bit more. So this morning I saw a short German documentary about a mountain in the German Alps, and this mountain peak is slowly collapsing. So geologists were monitoring the mountain. That's not bad at all. But I think the green tones need a little bit more, a darker tone. What's this? Olive. I really like watching videos about nature these days. I always like that, but now with the corona stuff, I especially like to watch people walking and hiking, traveling through nature. I think that is because I know that this year there will be no walking through the mountains for me. I don't think it's going to happen. Well, maybe a very short trip to Germany, but it all depends on the situation. That looks good. I'm very, very happy with this. And let's take a step back. Yeah, this goes well. Okay, I'll leave it for now and then I'll be back. Bye bye. And we are back. I'm going to continue this beautiful painting. Well, this is the first time that I have the feeling that this actually could become a nice painting. That didn't happen with the Inktense pencils, but now that I'm using these Neocolor II Aquarelle water-soluble wax pastels, goodness, what a word, it's going much better. I hope you are all healthy and safe. I realized this morning that the Color Yourself Calm series that I am making right now will be here for a very long time. First I thought, well, I will make Color Yourself Calm as long as there's a lockdown. But I think we will be in a lockdown for a very long time, and maybe not so much physically as it is mentally. This is Olive Claire. There's a helicopter in the air. It's a big one. Oh yeah, it's a big one. And it's not a Dutch one. We have the invasion of the Americans. Right now, here in the Netherlands, there is transportation of American US military equipments going on. The stuff comes from Eastern Europe and it's all going to the harbor of Rotterdam, or the other way, I believe. Anyway, they are moving helicopters from one place to another, So yesterday we had quite a few helicopters flying here, and this one that came by was a Chinook. You know, that big one with the double rotors, the two rotor, I believe you say. That thing that's on the top of the helicopter and spinning around. This helicopter has two. Anyway, I think this Color Yourself Calm series is going to be here for a very long time, because first here in the Netherlands we had an intelligent lockdown, as they told us it was. So we were not forced to stay home. We could go out, but we were asked to do that as little as possible. When you do grocery shopping, go on your own, keep your distance from others, stuff like that. And people are now starting to realize that this situation, this uncertain situation, will stay with us for a very long time. Months or maybe even years. And people here are starting to feel that, and I think people all over the world are starting to feel that right now. It's sinking in. Last week I had a student, singing student, and she told me she found the situation so... I need to change something here in this setup, sorry. She found the situation so very... she said the Dutch word beklemmend. It means something like something is tightening, choking, tightening. You feel it in your body, beklemmend. It's a tightening feeling. By the way, I like this green. And I believe that was the reason, that tightening feeling was the reason that she wished everything was over. And I completely sympathize with her. I have that same feeling. Thank goodness not very often, but sometimes I feel that too, that tightening idea that you are being limited in your daily life. And as the situation evolves right now in the world, I think, I feel that we are not done with it for a very long time. The situation here in the Netherlands right now is still quite good. We have low numbers of infection, low numbers of hospitalizations, low death numbers, but it's summertime right now and quite a lot of people decided to go abroad for the holidays. Lord knows what they're coming back with, virus wise. So yeah, it is not so not so good. So we must stay home and color ourselves calm, and well, we know that that helps. Coloring and painting is great for calming the mind. I think I will add a touch of that darkness here as well. And thank goodness Mother Nature, or the universe, gave us a little bit of distraction, because there is a comet. Comet Neowise. Last Saturday night I wanted to take a look at it, but it didn't work out. I had a huge migraine attack, so that was not going to work. I could not go out, but a day later we went to bed early, set the alarm in the middle of the night, went out to a spot here just 2 minutes away, a 2-minute car drive, where we can see the night sky clearly, no high buildings. And we saw that beautiful comet Neowise. We were just in time because there were clouds coming. But it was amazing. It was amazing. I love comets. I hope in the next days the weather will improve. We are having rain right now, but I hope in the next couple of days the weather will improve again, and I will have another chance of going to watch that beautiful comet. I'm going to add that green here as well. Let's take a look. I really like this. Now I have a feeling that that green needs to come back in the flower to make it look a little bit more to pull things together. This is tricky, but I'm going to try. Just a little testing over here. What happens if we add a touch of that green tone? Would that work? This is really a very small touch. Let's add a touch here. Yeah, that's good. Let's do some more. not too much. Yeah, that's good. Do you see that here? That beautiful shading. Wow. Love it. I'm just loving it. This is a little mistake. Let's see if I can get rid of the mistake. Well, that goes well. If you haven't had a chance of seeing the comet, there are a couple of beautiful videos on YouTube of people who went out in the middle of the night and vlogged their adventure. Very nice. There was one of a guy who went out in the middle of the night to try to photograph the comet in the vicinity of a castle. He wanted the castle in the picture, and the universe literally lined up for him. That picture was absolutely amazing. He had some, I believe they say nocticulate clouds. Well, they are very high clouds, not normal clouds, very high in the sky, and they look like silver threads in the night sky. He had that, he had the comet, and then exactly at the right time the moon arrived in the sky and lit the castle. It was an amazing picture, beautiful picture. I can remember that in the 1990s there were two comets. We had Hyakutake, and then we had another one, Hale-Bopp. And that one, Hale-Bopp, was extraordinary. It was very bright in the sky. And it was in March, so you could see it just in the evening, because the sun would set much earlier. Right now the sun sets at 10 p.m. here in the Netherlands, so you cannot watch that comet early in the evening. But back then you could. And I remember my husband and I, we were dating, and I went for a weekend to Germany with him, with my now husband and his family. And after dinner in the evening, my father-in-law and my now husband and I, we decided that we would go for a walk. It was already dark, and we would go for a walk in the woods. It was, I believe it was in Saarburg. Saarburg is a beautiful village, little town, in the west of Germany, not very far from here, with hills, low mountains, and a river, Saar. And we went walking through the woods, and at one point it was very dark already, and it was a clear sky, beautiful clear sky with lots of stars. And then we went walking, and suddenly we went by a ridge, so there was a clear open view to the sky, and suddenly we saw, bam, that huge comet, Hale-Bopp. And I wanted to stand still for at least an hour to watch that thing in awe. But my husband and his father said, "Oh, that's nice," and they walked on. I couldn't stay in the woods all alone, so I walked with them. But I would have loved to stand there for a while and just gaze in awe. What I find so very interesting about these celestial things is that this comet, the one that is here now, Neowise, I read that he is 103 million kilometers away from us. My husband told me that comet has a diameter of 5 kilometers, he said. So it's a large thing, but it's 103 kilometers away from us. How in the world can it reflect so much light that you can see it over here? I can think about that for hours. I love those questions. I will never be able to answer them. But I love thinking about the questions. Let's go back to this, to the butterfly. Lovely little butterfly. That butterfly needs a lot more color. And the red tone, I saw one flying around yesterday in the garden. This red tone is too red. It needs a slightly more brownish tone. So let's add a little bit. Here I have rood-brown in German, sanguine, red-brown, russets, sanguine. And let's add a touch. And there was another thing that mesmerizes me about that comet. That comet is flying with a huge velocity, high speed, through the air, through the cosmos. It's flying very, very fast. How come when we look at it, it stands still in the sky? I know the theory that is because it's so far away and then it looks like it's standing still, but still I cannot wrap my head around it. The same goes for us here living on the planet. This planet is turning as the world turns. This planet is turning with a huge amount of speed. And we never feel anything about it. How come we cannot feel that the world is spinning? I know the theory. We are too small and we are so close to the surface and there is gravity, but still, mind-blowing. I hope this butterfly is going to work out. I'm not completely convinced. I'm going to add a touch of that red here, or this is brown. And here is a little bit, I'm looking at the reference photo. Okay.